What's all that about classic bits with Cohen and Kelso?
Hello, dear listener. Here's some bits from the old, now deleted podcast episodes from before I came along and made it better.
Hello, dear listener, it's Kerwin here. Just letting you know that on this episode, the LED novelty reindeer ears Kelso was wearing caused a little bit of interference. So unfortunately, the audio was a little bit subpar. He does apologise, though. I'm not sure where he was wearing them, though. I couldn't really see him. Anyway, on with the show.
Welcome back to What's All That About, a podcast where two cheeky chaps chat candidly about stuff. My name is Kelso, one of the aforementioned cheeky chaps, and with me, as always, is my dear longtime pal, mixtape impresario and co-host, Kerwin. Hello, Kerwin.
Ho, 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 welcome. Always a pleasure
that
to
was
you.
a welcome and a ho. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Listen, you've got this habit of making me feel welcome. So welcome, in fact, that I'm going to invite you to sit on my lap while I interrogate you concerning your behaviour over the last year, then proceed to probe you on your deepest material desires. That's right. I'm offering to be your Santa Claus, and this is our first ever Christmas special.
Yay! It's the most wonderful time of the year. Yes.
Does that make you feel festive?
It does a bit. It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas.
How so?
I said I was trying to only talk in the titles of Christmas songs for as long as I could. I've only got as far as two.
Go the whole podcast.
I thought I had a couple ideas, but no, I didn't last very long there.
I'm bailing out.
I'm bailing. Yeah. No, it's very festive. I've never been involved in such a festive, Christmassy thing before. This is a Christmas special, so I guess this Christmas, deck the halls with boughs of holly. That was another thing I'd written down, but I didn't get to it.
Do you have access to boughs of holly in Brisbane?
No, maybe a couple of sprigs of holly, but boughs of holly, that's, you have to know someone.
Out.
Yeah, you have to, there's more of a specialist florist to get a big bough of holly. Yeah.
And what about mistletoe? Is mistletoe handy?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think considering the current political climate, I don't think kissing people under mistletoe is a good idea at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that sales of mistletoe have plummeted recently. It's in the what's not file this Christmas.
Indeed. I was at the local charity shop recently, actually, and I stood through their doorway, which was quite low, and knocked off their mistletoe with my head. And some of the elderly ladies that were working there kind of looked at me eagerly, and I just dismissed them quickly.
So you knocked it off with your forehead.
Yeah, it was so on my head.
You did have a kiss under the mistletoe, but it was a Liverpool kiss.
So, dear listener, you might be asking, what sort of Christmas special will Kerwin and Kelso serve up? Well, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
We have no idea, but I thought, Kerwin, we would start with talking about some of the differences or the peculiarities, I got it out, of Christmas in Australia compared to perhaps the rest of the world, as far as we understand it.
Okay. Well, obviously I'll offer the unique perspective of Christmas here in Australia, because I haven't really had Christmas anywhere else. So, yeah. But I've done some research. Don't worry. I actually made some notes.
So the main difference about Australian Christmas compared to perhaps if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, and we have listeners in the United States and United Kingdom. But the main difference, of course, is the heat.
Like unbearable heat in some Christmases rather than freezing, blizzards. and the like.
More often than not, the hottest day of the summer would be on Christmas Day.
Yeah, it was pouring with rain or something like that, you know, with where we were from. Had a tendency to just open up. The heavens would dump down, you know, a month's worth of rain in one day.
Fair to say the most onerous job you can have at Christmas time in Australia is to be the Santa Claus, because you have to dress up in a very heavy outfit.
That's right. I think in an earlier podcast I made mention of how one of my bandmates had to dress up as Santa in the dead of summer, and because of the heat, had to remove parts of the costume, which did cause distress to some of the younger patrons.
Yeah, I believe that was during some of our Being Musician podcasts. So if you want to
check it out,
dear
absolutely. Yeah, get back there. There's some gold there, I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah, that did raise a few eyebrows in the audience of age below 10.
It did, yeah, some tears. You know, the poor kids. Yeah.
The last time I was in Australia for Christmas, which was about 4 years ago now, I was actually had my arm bent by my sister-in-law, and I dressed up as Santa Claus. However, I was able to find in North Queensland a summer Santa suit.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right.
We may have mentioned this in another podcast, but
it does sound familiar. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So we'll give ourselves a bit of leave. So it was basically the Santa outfit, but it was short-sleeved and it was shorts.
How short, though? Like,
you know, like 2 inches above the knee.
Okay,
so it weren't short shorts, right, but they were short.
It wasn't ball bag short, you know.
No, my ball bags were not on display. That's one certain way to ruin Christmas.
You know the kind of shorts when we were in high school that when we were like grade 8, the senior boys used to wear? You remember those shorts that were so short? Their ball bag used to hang out the side of the shorts, you know.
Yeah, were they running shorts or sport shorts or something like that?
Yeah, it was like they were the kind of shorts that you'd see a marathon runner in the late 80s, early 90s wear, sort of really flowing.
Right.
Yeah, so you could see the duck egg blue pair of underpants, like, you know, just flapping in the breeze.
Duck egg blue.
Don't you reckon that's the kind of colour that you can imagine underpants in that time, you know?
Sure.
A duck egg blue. I like to get specific with my shades.
I think it was at the same time as in Australian codes of football. Shorts were pretty short at the time.
They were short, yeah.
Because actually, now you've said that, I can recall I had when I was in grade 9, so I would have been 14, 15? Is that the age in grade 9? 14, I think.
Yeah.
I had a couple of pairs of shorts which had black shorts which had magpies on the side. So I'm not sure which team I was representing, to be honest. Maybe it was Wes in the NRL, the rugby league, or perhaps Collingwood in the Aussie rules. Who knows? But anyway, I was told in no uncertain terms one day from one of the female members of my class that my shorts were indeed far too short.
Well, as in she could see something poking out?
Well, she didn't specify what she could see poking out, but perhaps something was poking out.
So she had a quiet word in your shell-like and just, you know, told you to wise up, basically. Didn't get specific. Just thought she'd...
I'm not sure it was a quiet word, but she did make her displeasure known.
Right, okay. Well, that was very diplomatic.
Maybe she really liked me. Maybe she had a crush on me.
Yeah, she did. That was very... Look, she could have been a lot more callous about that whole... the way she handled it. But, well, good. Tip of the cap to her for being so, like I said, diplomatic.
Yeah, fucking hell, Kelso, I can see you goddamn cock. She could have said that, but she didn't.
She didn't. And, you know...
I think it was near the end of the year, so maybe it was her Christmas present to me.
Well, kudos to her and whoever she was. I don't know. I'm sure she's a lovely lady.
Well, we'll probably cut this out, but I remember her name being Cassie and really big frizzy hair, maybe.
Cassie with big frizzy hair. I think we'd probably leave it in. Yeah, I love it.
Can you use that to pinpoint a particular school girl?
No.
From the 90s?
So if I'm not pinpointing, we can probably leave it in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Cassie with frizzy hair.
Yeah.
I mean,
There you go.
frizzy hair. We're talking early 90s here.
tight
Everyone
curls.
had frizzy hair. You know.
Naturally.
Frizzy, yeah. Still doesn't really narrow it down. I mean, there was no such thing as hair straighteners when we were in high school, so...
We still have retained a little winter influence on our Christmas in Australia from the United States and from the United Kingdom. Would you agree?
Definitely in the marketing, yeah. Because I mean, I look at the Christmas tree that I have put up. It's
You put up a Christmas tree.
I have, yeah.
Oh my God! Hang on, let me get this straight. You're a single bachelor musician who lives by himself, and you put up a Christmas tree.
I have, yeah. But hey, wait. So maybe I'll tweet a picture of this Christmas tree. Don't get too excited. Don't. You're probably about to say I've turned to the dark side or something. I haven't.
No. Yeah, I'm not. Saying it's a bad thing. I just think I was surprised.
Yeah, well, you're pleasantly surprised. But
hang on a second. Did you put a bauble on top of an empty whiskey bottle? That's not a Christmas tree.
No, I'm going to blow your mind, Kelso. Okay, you're gonna love this. And I haven't prepared this. This is in no way something that we have been doing like all these podcasts together. And I've finally decided that now I'm going to drop this bomb. But this purely just landed in my lap a few days ago.
Should I be sitting down?
You should be sitting down. Are you sitting down?
I'm sitting down.
Please sit down. Or at least be in a position where if you do faint, you're not going to fall and hurt yourself. Okay, right. Are we good? You know?
I'm good.
Maybe you should get in the recovery position. Just in case.
Precaution.
Okay, so this is... my mum... about 3 or 4 days ago, gives me this box, and it's kind of like a wooden box.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
I know it's this is starting to get mysterious. This kind of feels like the first 5 minutes of the Gremlins, you know.
I was referring to the end scenes of Seven, but that's cool.
Okay, no, like some of our references don't always meet up in the middle, but okay. So my mum gave me this box, and it had that kind of look that it came from one of those cheap shops, but at the same time had that Christmas look of old. You know what I mean? You know, you sometimes see those Christmas decorations or a little kind of Christmas setup that's kind of like Christmas in 1905, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Before, you know what I mean? So it was a box like that, and so I open it up, and inside is the same deal. There's 16 baubles for a Christmas tree. 16 baubles, and you're thinking, how does this relate to me? You're
That's a lot of baubles.
How is this blowing my mind yet? Yeah, there's 16. But they're in that old style. That old, like the baubles would, they're not fancy. They just look old, and they're like paper mache, that kind of thing. They're not made from flashy, sparkly plastic, So it's like these vintage things, but it's from a cheap shop. You can see that, but it's kind of got the vintage look down. And my mother puts this in front of me, and she goes, your friend Kelso gave these to you for Christmas 20 years ago.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and this is a present, and somehow I kept them, and I've always liked them, so I thought I'd hold on to them. Anyway, and she said, here you go, maybe you could use these. So I have this. I had the box of, 12 or 16 old school from a cheap shop bauble set that you must have given me or somehow or whatever.
No, that has blown my mind. I know exactly what you're talking about because I found these old-fashioned baubles in a, like you said, like probably a pound shop, a dollar shop, or Crazy Clark's. A discount warehouse style store, and they looked really, really cool and sweet. And I actually bought like about 5 or 6 boxes and gave it to all sorts of people. So I gave you a set, did I?
Right, yeah, well, this lovely special story just got stripped down, like, the specialness of it just got reduced by like 80%. Wow.
Just when you thought there was this underlying love story.
Yeah, no, it was. Why she decided now was the time she would just give me this box of... Yeah, you remember these? Remember these things? And it was like, that must have been 20 years ago. And she's like, Yes, it would be something like that.
I'm going to guess it would be 19. It would have to be 98 or 99.
I would say 97. Yeah, 97, 98. I mean, yeah, it had to be 97, 98.
Right.
So
okay.
that's 20 years ago. That's pretty much.
Wow.
So anyway, these discount house Christmas baubles adorn this Christmas
Given
tree.
with love and stored with love.
Yeah.
by your dear
Okay.
mother.
So on top of my printer, which is on top of my sort of 3-drawer Filofax setup where I keep, my important files on top of the. So I've got that box that you sent me, with the, you sent me all those years ago, lovingly, but apparently to every person you'd ever met. And I'm just a number,
Well, I gave it to my sister and my auntie, my mother, and some girls having a bang.
Okay, yeah, so that's
So you fit into the second category.
Right. Wow. Okay. So, this is like a reverse Jimmy Stewart Christmas. This is like horrible. I'm learning.
Stuart Jimmy. So you got these baubles from your mum and decided you needed a Christmas tree.
No. The thing is, I got into Christmas slightly last year when I bought it stands about 30 centimeters high. One of those things you buy from the same said shops that you 20 years ago got those baubles from. You put 2 AA batteries in it, you turn it on, and it kind of
sings a song.
No music, thankfully. I don't do that. I couldn't. It has that kind of thing with a fiber optic things sort of do it like a color sort of runs through the colors of the rainbow situation, for as long as you've got the thing switched on, So anyway, I've used I went to turn it on this year, and the batteries had run out. And even though I'm a working musician, I didn't have 2 AA batteries on hand. So I thought I would use your vintage, I would say now vintage, at the time just
vintage,
cheap
vintage.
shop. It's vintage, it's actual vintage, actual shabby chic. Baubles, and I've crammed them onto this tiny little Christmas tree, so it is like festooned with these fantastic old school
I can imagine,
Christmas baubles.
because they're bigger than golf ball size, right? So
Yeah, they're
it's got like a
huge.
1-foot Christmas tree.
Yeah, they're baseball size. They're baseball size. Yeah, it's let's just say it's heavy on the bauble, low, very, very low on Christmas tree.
It basically looks like a rack of baubles.
It does.
Nice
But then,
bauble rack.
just to really top it off, I thought it looked a bit bare at the top, so I did take out a roll of tinfoil and fashion a little star for the top there. So I really did get into the Christmas spirit. Yeah, I'll tweet it. I'll tweet it for dear listener. I'll take a photo of it, and you can check out I would say the official podcast KAK Christmas tree, perhaps.
Yeah. 1 bauble for every year of my unquoted love.
Actually, it's true. It is. Oh my God, we don't even know what Christmas is, I was doing some reading about, because how we said we were going to do some research about Christmas, for our Christmas special. I did some reading, and I found out some pretty shocking facts, so...
Let's hear it.
we can't, you sure? Are we going to go, so weren't we in the middle of a what's all that about?
Yeah.
Christmas?
Actually, you know what? We've not really said Christmas. What's all that about?
Ooh, I'm glad we got that off our chest.
All right, let's go back to the start.
Okay, so Christmas. Jesus was born in 0. That's what I know.
No, he was
about.
born in Bethlehem.
He was. Oh, sorry. Right.
Sorry, I got mixed up there.
It's confusing. The folklore.
No, he was born. He was born in Bethlehem, which means he does qualify to play for the Bethlehem Rangers when he comes of age.
Right. If you actually look at those 2 places on a map, you think, what was he doing over there? Why there?
You'd be surprised how far you can go on a donkey, mate.
I bet you've been on a donkey.
I've been on a couple of asses, but that's not quite the same.
I walked into that, and I can't believe you would say that on Christmas of all days. Oh my god.
We've got this great tradition in our family now because when we were young, we always had Christmas with our cousins, another family, and our elderly grandmother.
Right.
And when the cousins who were 3 years older than me, two girls, got to about the age of 18 or 19, they received on Christmas Day the gift of the Doors movie starring Val Kilmer.
Okay. Right.
On Christmas Day, probably VHS cassette, I imagine, back in the day. That's twice Val Kilmer's appeared on our podcast. So
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway,
Check.
so later in the day, on Christmas Day afternoon, as the festivities were winding down, my cousins decided they'd stick on the Doors and watch it. And there is a scene at some point where there's some, graphic nudity and partying and maybe drug taking or something. And of course, that was the very moment that my elderly grandmother entered the lounge room to discover her. To discover all our grandchildren watching this illicit movie, and she was shocked and she took great offence and she admitted the immortal words, "On Christmas Day." Right.
Was she fanning herself with her hands as she said it?
I think she put the back of her hand to her forehead.
On Christmas Day. Oh, did she fall back into the butler's arms? Oh.
So now, actually, it was my brother and his wife who championed this, because I'd forgotten all about this, and he started bringing it up about 10 years ago, is that if anyone does anything slightly controversial or something that slightly upsets you or you think is not quite correct on Christmas Day, you can say, "On Christmas Day!"
Of all days.
And fake being faint, yeah.
I've always wanted to do that. How do you make yourself available for the kind of play where just at least once you get to put the back of your hand on your forehead and fall backwards and go, "Oh, saints preserve us!"
I thought some of the debauched circles you hang out in, mate, might fill the bill.
Well, we were close back in the days when we were involved in small town theatre, but we never really got the chance to really fulfill that dream. Oh well.
So we were talking about the winter influence we still retain in Australia when it comes to Christmas celebrations. So just for the overseas listener,
sorry, did you just make some kind of cool conflation? Did you just call it a winfluence rather than winter influence? Did you just say winfluence?
It was purely coincidental.
Trying to be like
accidental.
Benifer or that kind of. Yeah, I wouldn't. If I lived in the Northern Hemisphere, I'd log on to winfluence.com to see what I should be wearing this winter.
It also sounds like a good name for a betting company. Winfluence.
Winfluence, yeah. Or a packet of cigarettes from the 70s. Winfluence.
Would it be that pack of cigarettes you could wrap up into your shirt sleeve and wear it on your shirt sleeve?
Oh, you mean like you got a T-shirt, so you put your cigarettes on your sleeve, and then you flip them around, you've made a little.
You don't see that anymore.
No, it looks like made a little cradle for your cigarettes on your sleeve. Yeah.
I wonder if that ever backfired though, because you kind of wind it up in your sleeve, don't you, to store it? But it does have that stored potential energy of flicking.
It does.
At a very wrong moment.
Flicking
your packet of cigarettes in some undeclared direction.
Well, I can attest to this because I haven't done it with the cigarettes. Why would I? That's a bit silly. Okay, but occasionally I'll do the same technique with my iPhone when I'm running, thinking, you know what I mean? And it will flick out. Just be aware, dear listener. That is no way to tether a full-blooded iPhone. A couple of folds on the T-shirt sleeve is not enough to harness the inertia. How am I doing science-wise, Kelso? Am I saying all the right words?
6 out of 10.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Speaking about iPhones and iPods and when you're running, I got my first iPod back in the day, so 2006 or something, as a present. So I used to listen to it as I cycled home from work over here in London, and I think I had a little holder which sat on my belt, and the iPod sat in the belt. And I was cycling home one day, going through a busy part of town. It was a little bit dodgy part of town. I thought,
why were you cycling through the dodgy part of town?
well, that's how I had to go from work to get home. You know,
surely there's more than one route to choose to go to the dodgy part of town. Were you trying to save a couple of minutes? Go around it.
Prostitute.
Okay, fair enough. Right.
Anyway, as I was going through this part of town, there were quite a few traffic lights, so I was stopping and starting. And then I realised, I thought, you know what, my iPod just sitting here on my belt, that might be a bit of a temptation for some sort of criminal to appear out of nowhere and rip off my hip.
Like mugger bait.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So as I was cycling along, I thought, I shouldn't have it in the hold of my belt. I'm going to take it out and put it in my pocket. All right. As I took it out, I looked down as it fumbled out of my hand, and I watched it exactly fall onto the road and go under a tire of a car.
Oh no!
Yeah. That was the end of that iPod. Sad to say. Getting back to Winfluence.
Winfluence.com.
I was going to point out, you know how in stores in Australia, even though it's like blazing hot summer, we still, I think, a lot of stores actually pay someone to come around and like paint frosting and like snow into their windows. Is that right?
Yeah, it is, because I mean all the songs we sing, all the Christmas wrapping, all the Christmas cards, it's all based on a northern European winter. You know, it's all to do with snow and Santa on his sleigh and reindeers. You know, you don't get anything like that in the tropics. You know.
No, you do not.
You do not.
So, speaking of which, I would like you to...
Me? I'm nervous.
Perhaps sing for the dear listener Australia's one and only contribution to Christmas carols.
Australia's one and only. Okay, so...
Do you know it?
Do
you know what I'm talking about?
If we are talking about the same thing, I don't know much of it, but I'll give it a go.
Sweet.
I'll just pick up the old guitar. Like I said, I don't know much. I don't know much, but I know I love you. Okay, so it was... Okay, so it went like six white boomers, snow white boomers, on their Australian run. How am I doing?
That's it?
Was it six white boomers? Six white boomers, snow white boomers, making their Australian run. See, I don't really know what that means. I think it was that we contorted the Santa things that he had kangaroos instead of reindeer.
Yes, so
I think.
For dear listener at home, a boomer is a very large kangaroo.
It's a word that I've never referred to a kangaroo as, ever.
I've never called a kangaroo a boomer.
A boomer. Yeah, I'll check out that boomer.
Maybe if he'd really upset me, I might call him a boomer, but...
Oh, crikey, there's boomers all over the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, our only adjusted Christmas carol, if you like, as far as I'm aware, is six white boomers, so six white kangaroos pulling Santa's sleigh. Isn't that exciting?
Well, it's funny because this is sort of leads me into one of my what's all that about topics, and it's Christmas songs and Christmas carols. What's all that about? And six white boomers is Australia's entrant into the Eurovision Song Contest of Christmas carols.
Well, I do have another entry, but it's not really safe for work.
Okay. Now I'm interested.
Do you know what I'm alluding to?
Not really.
Well, there's a little song by a little chap, an Australian comedian called Rodney Roode.
Oh, okay, all right. No, I don't think it was. Was it Rodney Roode or was it the other
Kevin
guy?
Buddy Wilson?
Yeah, it was. I think it was the other guy. Yeah, him. Yeah, Kevin Buddy Wilson.
Right. So Australia has a tradition of.
Don't include me in this, by the way. When you say Australia has a tradition, I wasn't part of this.
Very, very crass and blue comedians who sing songs.
Yeah.
And the two key proponents were Rodney Roode and Kevin Bloody Wilson.
Yeah, these are the kind of guys that made a lot of their money selling cassettes post-show at a pub, you know.
Right. Anyway, Kevin Bloody Wilson has an excellent song about Christmas, and I'm going to have to go quite blue.
It does, yeah. I mean, maybe should we offer a like a M-rated version and an X-rated version? Yeah, because we could easily. I mean, I'd love to hear the name of this. I'd love to hear your rendition of this song, of this classic Australian Christmas tune. I mean, this is a Christmas special on What's All That About. I mean, technically, under our our show rules, you could sing that song. But
I'm going to paraphrase it instead. So, in this song,
right.
A small 5-year-old boy rather rudely accosts Santa Claus and calls him names in an effort to find out why he didn't receive the present he so wished for at Christmas time.
This is a beautiful, summary of this song. I love it.
So I think what we'll do is we'll have to add a link on Twitter.
Rather than say it.
So you can go and watch it on
it is quite blue.
YouTube, because it's probably better you just listen to it on YouTube.
It does drop a C-bomb, and we don't drop those, do we, ladies?
We steer away from the C-bombs.
Yeah, I don't know. When I'm look, in real life we say it all the time. It's one of my favourite words. It is my favourite word.
Oh, I don't say it very often at all.
Well, that's where you and I differ, but I just don't think it's broadcastable, in my humble opinion,
So there you go. It is a Christmas special. We're giving you, dear listener, a treat, a present.
There it is, yeah. So now we've just injected the C-bomb into your Christmas. Yeah, have a merry C-bomb.
But think about it. If you follow the YouTube link and think it's as funny as we do, then you can, like, on a Christmas Day afternoon, you can show it to your uncle, who's so inclined to those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And then if anyone else overhears you playing it on YouTube, they'll say, "On Christmas Day."
Or you're right. You could be the toast of your Christmas with a discovery like this little gem. Santa Claus, yeah, we all know, because the first time I heard that sentence, once, dear listener, if you haven't heard this song, which I'm pretty sure you haven't, you once it gets to the chorus line, I first heard, I think, some grade 5 kids, so that would have made me like 10 or 11, some kids said that to me, I was like, whoa. That's some heavy English there, That's some, like I said, that's some native language I have not yet heard. Whoa. Alright, yeah, so...
Let me have a dip at it. We might cut this out, but it goes like this.
Okay.
Hey, Santa Claus, you bleepin' bleep, where's my bleepin' bike?
Right.
That's the first line.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have the same impact when you self-censor. But yeah, I guess there you go. Just for to save us having to actually do the full version. That was fairly decent.
What other Australian Christmas songs?
Yeah, your version of that song was kind of like the version you'd get if you were flying on a Chinese airline.
Any airline, to be honest.
No, you get the good. So hey, you haven't flown Qantas to Singapore because you get the good movies. Don't worry. Sex scenes.
Do they cut out
nipple?
Tits?
No, you get nipple. You will get nipple.
You get nipple?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like when you fly in the Australian way, you get nipple.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, you know how they're talking about movies on airplanes. I'm not a great flyer. Have I divulged this about myself to you ever? I'm not a great flyer. I'm not great on planes.
You haven't, but your ex-wife told me once. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, not a great flyer. And once I had to make a very long flight to Asia, and but we had that privilege of watching movies that they, in the back seat, in the seat in front of you, there was like a video screen. You could play video games.
Yeah, now, but it didn't used to be.
Yeah, so I thought, I need, because I had real paranoia about flying. It came out of nowhere, and I was in the absolute thick of it when I was doing a lot of flying to them.
Yeah.
So anyway,
well, I like to think that. learning to fly when you ain't got wings. Coming down.
Oh, look,
It's the
too
hardest.
soon? Too soon. Yeah. Man, this guy, he's cold as ice. Dropping Tom Petty? Man, it's only been a month. 2 months.
Too soon?
Wow,
Too soon?
yeah, too soon. All right, well, man.
All right, so you're flying to Asia. You've got a 2 weeks.
The body's still warm on that one. Whoa, okay. All right. Sorry, but I'm trying to watch movies to take my mind off the fact that I'm flying in this
Tin can.
the cylindrical tin thing with wings that it just makes no sense. Anyway, I'm freaking out, and turbulence. I'm flying from a tropical place to another tropical place. We're flying through monsoons, that kind of stuff, or flying over, or and I'm trying to watch movies that are trying to take my mind off it. I think I watched something about a football coach. Then I might have watched some kind of romantic comedy with, I think it was Jennifer Aniston or something like that. Anyway, it was really starting to get me down. I was starting to reach maximum point of agitation, and I thought, oh look, the best thing that's gonna I need to watch a kids movie. That's what I should do. I really need to take myself. I need to regress that far back, to find my peace, my center, my chi on the flight there. So anyway, so I'm watching B Movie. The Seinfeld. Remember B Movie?
Oh, yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a wholesome kids movie, feel good. Really gets you in the heartstrings. Anyway, so I'm watching this thing and, oh, thank God for Jerry Seinfeld in this movie. Taking my mind off the horrors of a plane crash, Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, in this movie, there's the whole scene where this plane needs to be landed by a swarm of bees, and I'm like, oh my God, a swarm of bees, a plane crash, what? How did I get into these murky waters? I thought it was plain sailing. Next thing I know, I'm in the middle of a monsoon.
Oh, no.
And anyway, a mental monsoon that even the Valium I had on hand couldn't quell, so to speak, so... Yeah.
I'm in a monsoon in the middle of the ocean, and the weeds wearing off.
Till next time.
Hooroo!
See you later.
On Christmas Day!